Frisky Tipsy Libertines with Scott and Janet. So, moving on, we're going to learn something today. We're going to talk about the history of vibrators. So, did you hear, and this has no fact-based...
That's a great way to start off. We're going to talk about the history of vibrators.
You're going to learn
with
something.
No facts.
There's no facts involved. No, but the first thing that I saw when I started doing research on like the first vibrator was it's claimed that Cleopatra first used a hollowed out gourd filled with live bees as a vibrator.
I think I have heard that before. I'm pretty sure.
There's no factual evidence in this. But that sounds like a terrible fucking idea. Like, can you imagine a bee sting on the vagina? Like, how do you keep the... Like, how would you get those in there? You'd have to use, like, a funneling system to get the bees in there, and then, like, find some way to plug it off to keep them in there. Like, cork them, I guess?
I have a feeling that's just a giant myth.
I'm sure that it is. I just thought it was entertaining.
They have found like utensils like dating back to like prehistoric areas where they realized there was a dildo or carved like
that. Yeah, like carved dildos for sure.
Like rocks that were smoothed out into that shape and stuff. So I mean, like, this is, back when women were more liberated.
Well, Cleopatra was very liberated.
Yeah.
So I can see how that myth came about. But yeah, that just sounds like some Flintstones shit, doesn't it? like Fred Flintstone would use a gourd filled with bees.
Hey, Wilma, I got the bees. We're gonna shake them up now. Let's go. Okay, moving on to the 19th or 18th century.
Okay. We're gonna move on to the Victorian era. So the popular story that people like to tell about the Victorian era is that women were often diagnosed with a condition called hysteria, which had a range of conditions: anxiety, insomnia, irritability, loss of appetite, and bloating were some of the reasons women could be diagnosed with hysteria. And the condition was treated through pelvic massage. Pretty much just a hand job.
Yep.
To produce an orgasm, which would then restore her to full health. Your health meter goes up.
This was probably more like, fuck, okay, I'm done. Thank you. Go away. I'm going to pass out now. Like, thanks. Like,
I mean, if my doctor were giving me a hand job, I'd probably be like, oh, I've got to go to the doctor again this week.
Yeah.
But so doctors did not like this because it was time consuming and an arduous process. So the vibrator was invented by Dr. J. Mortimer Granville to save labor. So that's the popular story that people like to tell. And it was made popular by the 2011 movie starring Maggie Gyllenhaal called Hysteria, which was based off Rachel Main's book, The Technology of Orgasms, written in 1998.
Was that movie based off that story?
So the movie was based off of the story in Rachel Main's book from 1998. However, Main admits herself it's a hypothesis. It's not based in any fact. There's no evidence in any medical textbooks describing stimulating the clitoris. In fact, the clitoris has been removed from textbooks many times throughout history. We don't like to talk about women's anatomy or women having any sort of pleasurable sensations outside of, conception. So what we do know is Dr. J. Mortimer Granville did invent the vibrator to use on men for headaches, indigestion, and constipation.
All right.
But there's no evidence that he ever used it on women.
That's really interesting. It's very interesting.
Oh, yeah.